Hey y'all, what's going on? It's Athena, and I'm really excited because today I'm going to talk about the law of attraction. What the hell is it? How does it work? And what are some resources that you can use to better practice and understand it? To preface this video, I was introduced to the law of attraction 3 years ago. My sister introduced it to me when I was really struggling. I've struggled with depression for a long time, and I was certainly struggling with it then. I was feeling very ugly, very unattractive, very unlovable, and I was just living in this space of shame and guilt, which if y'all have ever lived in that space, it sucks. Like, it hurts. It's really hard to live in that space. Like, even going out or doing the most basic of tasks becomes very hard. I didn't even want to leave my house because every interaction that I had with people reminded me that I hated myself, reminded me of how ashamed I was. It was like when I was around people, the shame I felt for myself was amplified, right? Because then there was a witness to me and my shame that I felt and my self-hate. So everything was very hard. I was also working a minimum wage job, which you cannot survive on $7.25. It is really hard. And I'm one person. I don't even have to support a family on $7.25. And this is not like a political video, but I will just say that I support the fight for 15 because no one working full-time should live in poverty. Like, that's awful. It's horrible that we do that to people. So anyway, that's where I was at. Working a minimum wage, struggling to get by financially. My relationships were actually falling apart. Like, I had lost some really great friends, I don't know if they were great friends, but I lost like my closest friends at the time. I lost my relationship. I was having a really hard time connecting with people because I felt so much shame. I didn't feel like I could express myself or be myself authentically because I was just so ashamed of myself and just felt so much guilt. It was a hard time. So anyway, my sister introduced the law of attraction to me then through The Secret, which is a book and a documentary. I tried reading the book. I thought it was very boring. The documentary was my introduction to the law of attraction. I don't think that's the best resource out there, but if you haven't checked it out, check it out. There's definitely some awesome people that you'll be introduced to through that film, and some pretty great stories about people who have used the law of attraction. At the end of this video, I will share what I think are better resources on helping us understand how it works, so please check those out for sure. But yeah, I was introduced to The Secret and had been studying it for the last 3 years. It was only at the beginning of this year, specifically the last couple of months actually, that I really feel more secure in my understanding of the law of attraction. And I'm still very much a student, but I feel like I'm at a point where I can teach as I learn. So that's why I'm making this video. That being said, I'm not only a student of the law of attraction, I'm also a student of psychology, specifically of Tony Robbins' methods of psychology. I'm a student of spiritual healing. I'm a student of, what are the keys to success? I'm very interested in that in a multitude of ways. And, what is the key to happiness? I really feel like that is the root of why I started studying all of these things, because I was so depressed, and I do not feel like there's one answer to finding happiness. I feel that it's very individualized. I don't feel like we can just make it uniform. I don't feel like we can completely medicalize it. Yes, I do know that chemical imbalances in the brain is real, and I absolutely support, making sure that people have access to medication if that's what works for them. But I also feel like when we jump to the pills, it takes away that individualized aspect, if that makes any sense. So anyway, that's just to say that I believe it's absolutely individualized, and the key to happiness and the key to dealing with things like depression and anxiety is different for each person, and I feel like we need to take it seriously and treat it as such. So that being said, I'm studying all of these things. I'm also a student of social justice and organizing, because while I do believe that it's important that we are happy and stable and well taken care of as an individual, we need to uplift as we climb, because there are absolutely systems of oppression put into place in this society. And, the system really keeps people oppressed, keeps people from having the most basic of resources that we need to live, keep people from being able to live safe and healthy and fulfilling lives. And so I really do believe in organizing and working together to create changes on a larger scale. So that being said, these are all of the things that I'm studying. Right now I'm really focusing on the mental health aspect because I feel like it's what I need at the moment. And law of attraction has actually been a huge part of that. So without further ado, what is the law of attraction? So basically, as I understand it, the law of attraction is the belief that everything is vibrational. Everything in the cosmos, everything in the universe, everything in the multiverse is a vibration. From the sun to your coffee table to you. We are all vibrational, and we are vibrational beings. This means that we are constantly offering up vibrations to the universe, whether we know it or not. Whether we're conscious of the type of vibration that we're offering up or not, we are offering it. We are vibrating. Whether we have decided, oh, this is the vibration I'm going to give to the universe today, or whether we're just on, autopilot and we have no idea what vibrations we're sending out to the universe, we are sending them out. So the law of attraction dictates that we can only attract things into our lives that match our own vibration. So this is important because if we want to attract love into our lives, or if we want to attract money into our lives, we have to have a vibration that matches that so that it can come into our life. Otherwise, it will not come, or it will come and leave as soon as it comes into the picture. So this is pretty much just like a basic overview of what the law of attraction is and how it works. Another way that I could describe it is that the law of attraction works like a tuning fork. So tuning forks are these instruments that you can use in music. They can have different keys. So let's say you have a tuning fork and it's in the key of C. You strike the tuning fork, and let's say you have a bunch of other tuning forks lying around. Other tuning forks that are in the key of C will also vibrate, but the other ones won't. So that's kind of like an example of how that works. So you are a tuning fork. If you're in the key of C, you're going to attract things that are in the key of C around you. If you're vibrating from a place of love and offering up a vibration of love, you're going to easily attract those things that match your vibration. If you are operating from a place of shame, a vibration of shame, you're going to attract things that match that vibration. And it might not be the things that you want, right? It's just going to be the things that match your frequency. So this is kind of like a basic overview of how that works. An example of this is how people treat you. So if you're operating from a place of shame, let's say, you might find that people treat you worse. You might find that people are mean to you. You might find that people, you have generally unpleasant experiences with people. People take advantage of you, for a variety of reasons. One, I think, like I said earlier, we project stuff onto people. Two, I think that people pick up on your vibes. And if they are the type of person who is also vibrating in a low frequency and they're looking to take advantage, or they're looking to, they're also feeling bad about themselves and they need a boost. So instead of feeling shame, feeling like hate or content for someone else is a better vibration than shame, right? So they are mean to others to lift their vibration or to feel better about themselves. So if you're offering off that vibration, people will react to it, right? It's just like kind of that tuning fork thing. That's not to say that if you're operating from a good place that you won't encounter people who, are going through it or are mean or who are coming for you. But when you're in a higher place when you're vibrating from that higher place, you also just like don't care as much. You go out, you have an unpleasant experience with someone, and you can just say like, oh, what's that person's problem? Instead of like internalizing it and letting it impact the vibration that you're offering, if that makes sense. So anyways, I don't 100% think that, this is true. I mean, okay, I do think it's true, but I think that there are still questions. Like, for instance, like, racism is a huge system of oppression. So someone can have a great vibration and go out and experience racism because it's this horrible system that exists in our society that permeates a lot of things. It permeates people's minds. And so that's a question that I still have, honestly, I don't have the answer to. So, like, if we put out a vibration and we experience only things that match our vibration, then how do things like racism and sexism and other forms of, like, discrimination still exist? And not only on an individual basis, but on a larger scale. This is a question, this is a real question that I have about it. I do not know. I'm still trying to study that and explore that. I do think it has something to do with a collective consciousness and what, how do I say this? Like, I guess what's been dominating the collective consciousness, in an oppressive way. I do believe in spiritual oppression as well, but I think that's another topic for another time. I'm just throwing that in there to say that, I do have questions about this myself, because I do not believe that people who experience racism go out looking to experience that. Like, it is a horrible system of oppression that exists in our society. So that being said, I will be further exploring this further, because, like I said, I don't have the answer to that, and it's a question that I have, and I will continue to look into that, especially, like, the idea of collective consciousness, as opposed to, like, our individual consciousness. So anyways, again, even though we have to deal with these systems of oppression and people being mean and horrible to us at times, whether we are in a low vibration or a high vibration, we can still control our own vibration. And it might be hard, it might not be easy, but if we have an unpleasant experience, we can still, try and vibrate from the highest point that we can. And this is not about being perfect. This is not about always being euphoric or excited or like, oh my god, like, bad stuff is happening, but fuck all that, like, I'm just happy. Like, that's just kind of, whoa, like, that's on a whole other level. I'm not saying you can't do that. I'm not saying if you do that, that's bad. But what I'm saying is we can still acknowledge the problems and the challenges that exist in our lives, and be real about them, but just reach for the better feeling thought, right? So it's not like, again, it's not like we have to be euphoric all the time, but instead of feeling hopelessness and desperation, we can feel anger. And anger is a better vibration than hopelessness and despair. And hope is a better vibration than anger, right? So it's a scale, which actually I would like to show you this scale of vibrations. So I'm going to probably post a picture if I can figure out how to do that, but if not, here it is. So you'll see at the very bottom, there's shame. So shame is actually the lowest frequency that we can operate on. Then it goes into guilt, and then it goes into apathy, grief, fear, desire, anger, pride, courage, neutrality, willingness, acceptance, what does that say? Reason, love, joy, peace, and enlightenment. Now, me personally, I actually have no idea what enlightenment means. I mean, I know what it means, like, in a dictionary sense, but what they mean as it being a vibration, I really don't know. That's something I need to study. But peace is absolutely an amazing vibration to offer up. Just accepting and just being at peace where we're with where we're at. It doesn't mean that we don't want to improve things. It just means that we find that peace and that center within ourselves. And it's a great feeling. Much better than shame, I'll tell you one thing. So again, this is not to say that you should always strive to be feeling, love and joy and peace, although that's honestly better for you and your life, certainly. And again, I don't think that peace is synonymous with, like, being a pacifist. Like, I think people get that confused. It's like, just because you're finding a peaceful vibration and you're at peace with everything, doesn't mean that you don't want to change it, doesn't mean that you're going to allow people to hurt you or walk all over you. It just means that you're vibrating, you're offering up that vibration, but you can still take action to change things, right? And you can still take action to stop bad things from happening. So anyway, that's how I understand it. So this is not about offering up, a euphoric feeling all the time, because it is also important to let yourself experience shame, guilt, apathy, because that's how we grow. Expansion is also another part of the law of attraction. I think that's a much deeper conversation, so I will make another video exploring expansion. But for now, just know that it's important to let yourself feel how you authentically feel, and then just reach for a better feeling. So if you're feeling shame right now, try and reach for guilt or grief, or fear. Like, just move up the scale to the best of your ability. And I also think that, this is just a chart, an example of feelings, but I also think that, who's to say that you can't experience anger and peace at the same time, right? So that's what I was talking about earlier. It's not that if you're at peace, you're like some pacifist. I don't think that any of these feelings equate to any sort of action, because you can do the same action from any point of vibration. So you can give someone a hug, but really be offering a vibration of shame. And it seems like an act of love, right? But if you're offering a vibration of shame, it doesn't change your vibration. So you can also defend yourself from a place of peace, I think. So anyway, point is that it's not about the action. And if people will have you believe that, like, oh, if you're truly at peace, like, you would just be some sort of pacifist. I personally don't believe that. But anyway, this is just an example. I'm not here to tell anyone what feelings can or cannot coexist, and what actions and what feelings and vibrations can or cannot coexist. This is just an example to show you that you can always reach for a better feeling thought. And this is basically a scale of low frequencies to high frequencies, and the feelings that match those vibrations. So, that being said, basically, with the law of attraction, we're either in a state of abundance or we're in a state of lack. So you'll see that these lower vibrations like shame, guilt, grief, fear, they're pretty much coming from a state of lack. Like, we're just feeling like we're lacking. And then the higher vibrations from courage on up, that's more a feeling of abundance. You're looking at what you do have in your life, you're finding ways to feel good, maybe despite what exists in your life at the moment. But you're offering up a vibration that will attract better things into your life in the future, and that will allow you to work for those better things as well. I really do personally think that acceptance and peace are, probably the best feelings that we can offer up, the best vibrations we can offer up, because no matter what you're dealing with, you can look inside yourself and find that place of peace, right? And again, I think the specifics are up to the individual, so this is up to you to figure out. I think this is just a tool that you can use to figure out what kind of vibration you're offering, and if you're offering a low vibration that's keeping you from getting the things that you want in life, like, how can you work your way to a better vibration and a better feeling? So that's the chart. I found it very helpful, especially when I realized that shame was at the bottom. I always assumed, like, hate would be at the bottom, or, something like that. But shame, I do understand and believe why it's the lowest. It really sucks to be in that place. So anyways, feelings are really important because I don't know if there's a way for us to measure like what vibration we're offering to the universe without determining how we're feeling. So I really feel like paying attention to what we're feeling in the moment is the best way we have to figure out what vibration we're offering up to the universe. So that's why feelings are so important. They're an indication of vibrations. So yes, feelings are very important because they're an indication of the vibrations that we're offering. So that's pretty much the structure of the law of attraction. That's the what it is and, elements of how it works. And that will take us into how do we use it. So basically, we need to raise our vibration to be in alignment with whatever it is that we want. And now, let's put the pause button on for a second. What we want, isn't desire a low frequency? You might be asking yourself. Well, yes, but you can want something from different vibrations. So, let's say that you can want something from a vibration of love. You can want something from a vibration of joy and excitement and hope. You can want something from a vibration of anger. Desire, the reason why desire is so low on the scale is because desire is when you want something but don't really believe that you can get it. So you just feel the absence of it. And that's why desire is so low on the scale, because desire is more about the feeling of the absence of whatever it is you want. Now, if you're wanting something from a place of love, you're just so in love with this vision that you have. You're in love with this dream that you have of acquiring or accomplishing this thing that you want, right? So it's a different place. You can want things from different vibrations. So that's just to clear that up, because you're like, wait, how can we want something if desire is such a low frequency? So that's just to clear that up. Desire is specifically feeling the absence of what it is that you're wanting, and always feeling in that desire, instead of feeling the hope and the prospect of it. Does that make sense? Cool. All right, cool. So so the law of attraction works by first raising our vibration so that it can be in alignment with what it is that we want. Now, feelings are the indication of our vibration, and thoughts are usually what create our feelings. However, it is really hard to keep track of your thoughts. We think so much, and then there's like layers to our thoughts. Like we have our conscious thoughts, and then there are our subconscious thoughts, and it's just way too much to keep track of. It's easier to keep track of how we're feeling in the moment. And that will help us to, if you notice you're feeling bad, so check in with yourself every once in a while, like, how am I feeling right now? If you're not feeling so good, ask yourself, what am I thinking about? And oftentimes it's shocking that, what we focus on and what we, ruminate on and what we allow ourselves to just stay in these bad feelings and these vibrations on, these lower vibrations on. So absolutely, that's why feelings, again, are so important, because they're an indication of our vibration, but they're also an indication of the thoughts that we're having. And the thoughts often create how we feel and add to what we're feeling. So, if you've heard of the law of attraction before, I'm sure you've heard of positive affirmations. So, positive affirmations are just basically statements that replace negative thoughts. So if I was feeling shame about myself before, it's probably because I was always thinking, I'm hideous, I'm so ugly, look in the mirror and be like, oh my god, who did it and why? Or just feeling ashamed, like, I'm such a bad person, I'm a horrible friend, like, I suck. All of these negative, definitely not positive affirmations. So you replace that with, you would think that you would want to jump to the opposite, right? Which would be like, I'm beautiful, I'm amazing, I'm such a great person, whatever the opposite is of whatever you were feeling. But that's that huge jump that we might not actually believe in the words that we're saying. And so the thing about positive affirmations is that positive affirmations are a great tool, but it's not about the words, it's about the vibration that we create with those words. So you could sit here all day if you're operating from a place of shame and you try to tell yourself, I'm beautiful, I'm beautiful, I'm beautiful, you might not believe it, and so those words are empty, and then we just get frustrated and stay in that place of shame. Or maybe we move to anger because we're just frustrated with everything. But the point is we stay in like a low vibration and we don't actually get there. So instead of that, you can work yourself. What's an easier thought? What's a better feeling thought? It doesn't have to be the opposite thought. It doesn't have to be the best thought, but it could just be a better thought. So if I'm sitting here thinking all these bad things about myself, I could just say, I'm just human. I'm okay. I'm not perfect, and that's fine. Because nobody's perfect. You see? It's just easier. It's not like, oh my god, I'm the best person in the world, I'm so fabulous and amazing. But it could just be like, I'm alright, I'm a human. Humans are just animals, and I'm just doing the best that I can. And if that feels better than hating yourself, boom. Then you've already reached a better feeling thought. Now, positive affirmations are things that we want to tell ourselves daily, like daily reminders. Daily reminders that help us get into a better feeling, a better vibration. And that's the importance of that. But again, it's not about the words. It's about making sure that we actually believe them so that we can feel better. And maybe it works like a ladder. Maybe we get there slowly. Maybe you work on feeling just a little bit better the next day, or the next month, or the next year, and then go from there. Because oftentimes when we try to go to the opposite extreme, if we're feeling shame and we're trying to make ourselves feel euphoric, like it just oftentimes doesn't work. I'm not saying it can't work, it can, but if you're having a hard time with that, then just go for a better feeling. It doesn't have to be the best feeling. So that's some more on that and how that works. So changing our thoughts will help us change how we feel, and changing how we feel helps us to change the vibration that we're offering so we can be in alignment with the things that we want in our lives. So another note is that you can be in alignment in some areas of your life and out of alignment in other areas. So, for instance, with like love and relationships, you can have great friendships, like an amazing partner or partners, and all that could be good. And because you believe you deserve it, and you just like love people, and it's just all the feelings there are good. You just feel joy, at peace, love, all that good stuff. However, when it comes to money, you can feel fear or shame or guilt or the lacking of it, and it can keep money from manifesting in your life. It can keep money away because you're constantly in that lower vibration when it comes to it. So you can be in different places of vibration in different areas of your life. It just depends on how you feel about it and what you're attracting. You can also just be on a low vibration in general. I feel like I was like that for a long time, or you can be in a high vibration. And oftentimes I find that they spill into each other. So if you're really focusing on an area of your life that's going well, it could probably help you to raise the vibration in other areas of your life. And if you're focusing on an area of your life that's not going so well, the same can happen, and you can just find everything spiraling down and out of control. So that's just another note on that. So where do you start, though, right? So let's say you want to change one area or all areas of your life. Let's say you want to raise your vibration completely. Where do you start? So start from where you're at. How do you feel? Be honest with yourself. How do you feel right now? Let yourself write about it. Vlog about it. Talk with someone about it. Just be honest. Actually, well, you can't talk to someone about it, but I think it's better if you do it as an individual practice, because then you can just be honest with yourself. I think it's easier to be honest with yourself. So, how do you feel? Be honest. It's okay. It's okay, even if you're feeling shame. Even if you feel like, oh, great, I'm starting at the very bottom of the scale. We can always work your way up in everything. So, yeah, where are you? How do you feel? Be honest. Next, it's where are you in your life? Like, what is the environment? What are the things that have manifested in your life? Where are you in terms of your love and relationships? Where are you in terms of how you feel about yourself? Where are you in terms of your health? Where are you in terms of, your career, your finances, your happiness? Like, all the areas of your life, where are you at? And what are you happy with? And what are you not so happy with? And be honest, and it's okay. And allow yourself to feel however you feel about it, but just be honest. That's number one. Just write where you're at right now from your perspective. Then here's the thing. Then you have to accept it. You have to say, okay, this is where I am. And not from a place of shame, and not from a place of guilt, and not from a place of fear that you're never going to leave this place, but just from a place of acceptance. Like, this is where I am. Doesn't mean I can't get to where I want to be. Doesn't mean it can't change. This is just the current reality. So then after that, let yourself dream. What do you want? The areas that you're not happy with, how would you like them to be? How would you like them to be different? The areas that you are happy with, how would you like to grow in those areas, or how would you like to maintain the happiness that you've been able to acquire in those areas to this point? So, where do you want to be? Dream. Let yourself dream. And here's the thing. Don't hold yourself back from dreaming. Don't think that your dreams are too ridiculous or too big or too absurd for you. They're not. Allow yourself. Just allow yourself to want what you want. It's okay. This is why it's an individual exercise. Be honest with yourself. What do you really, really, really want? And allow yourself to want it. Make a vision board. So these things that you want, put pictures up, or you could just write it out. Literally, just write it out in detail what you want. But do not worry about how you're going to get it. This is where a lot of people get stuck. This is where I get stuck all the time. I think I want this, but then I start focusing, my mind automatically goes, okay, how am I going to make it happen? You know what? That's not your job to figure it out. It's the universe's job to bring you inspiration so you can take inspired action, or to bring opportunities into your life. But first, you have to let yourself want it and not let the questions of how it's going to happen, or ideas of it being too big for you, or too impossible get in the way. No. Let yourself want what you want and be honest about it. So after you've made a vision board or written it out, now it's just time to feel good. Okay, you've put it out into the universe. Now your job is to feel good right now. And again, if you can't feel euphoric, feel the best that you can on that scale. Focus on reaching for the best feeling that you can get to at this point. And try and get a better feeling every day. And so that's basically how it works, and how you can start is be honest with yourself about where you're at. Accept it. Dream about where you want to be. Let yourself. And then focus on feeling good. That's literally pretty much like the basics of the law of attraction. It sounds very simple, but it's not necessarily, because we learn different things. We're conditioned to think very differently. And of course, there's always struggles and obstacles that can interfere, but with practice, it really, really can impact your life. So, that being said, this is just an overview, a very short, very short, but compared to a lot of the resources out there, a pretty condensed version of, the things that have helped me understand the law of attraction. So that is the what and the how, and of basically how to do it. And for other resources on, the specifics of the how, because that's the practice. The how is the practice, and again, the how is going to be individualized. So I'll be offering some resources regarding, how you can change your thoughts, and some exercises you can do to raise your vibration, or to visualize, or to do any of the 5 steps that I mentioned in practicing the law of attraction. So I'll be offering those resources and providing reviews and such in the future, but definitely, check out The Secret. I did say it's not necessarily my favorite resource out there, but again, there are great stories and there are some great speakers. Lisa Nicholes is one of the speakers in The Secret, and I actually watched a lot of her videos afterwards on YouTube. So, The Secret's not necessarily that thing, so check it out. Abraham Hicks, yes, I watch Abraham Hicks videos all the time. I think even this past weekend I was feeling a little and I watched some videos, and it helped me get back to a better feeling place. Louise Hay, especially if you are struggling with self-love or self-hate, Louise Hay is amazing. Absolutely check out Louise Hay. Wayne Dyer. I really like the perspective that he provides, so check out his videos as well. And for the psychology aspect and changing the way that you think, Tony Robbins, absolutely, 100%. Awaken the Giant Within. I'm going to be continuing to review his book, and chapter 4, I feel like, of Awaken the Giant Within specifically relates to this and really helped me understand the law of attraction and be able to practice it more. So yes, Tony Robbins for the psychology aspect. Use the Force by Joshua P. Warren is another book I'll be reviewing, and I highly recommend checking that out as well. Reiki for beginners. Reiki is not necessarily really about the law of attraction or anything like that, but I just love the way that they explain the universe and our existence as vibrational beings. I think that has a great foundation for helping us to understand the law of attraction in there. And yeah, those are the best resources that, in my opinion anyway, and the ones that I've been using. So I will continue to review them. I will share links for them in the description below. And yeah, honestly, if you want to start right now, I would say do a YouTube search for either Louise Hay, especially if you're struggling with the self-love, or do a YouTube search for Abraham Hicks and watch the video that has a title that speaks to you the most. That's what I would recommend for exploring the law of attraction and getting into it and developing your practice with it. There are unanswered questions. I still have a lot of questions about how it works and about how the law of attraction coexists with things like systems of oppression, and I'm still exploring that. So this is just the foundation, the basic stuff, and that's basic. At least that's how I understand it. So I hope that was helpful for you all out there who are interested in the law of attraction or were kind of wondering like, what is it? Yeah, that's pretty much what it is, at least as I understand it. So if you have questions, more than happy to talk with you about it. And until then, dream big, let yourself want what you want, allow, accept, and you know what? Things can only go up. But they could go down too. Things could go all around. But you know what? It's fine. Because wherever we are is part of our own individual universe. And we are infinite beings. So in a way, things will always be okay. So lots of love to you all out there. And if anyone is particularly struggling with, feelings of shame and self-hate, I feel you. So I'm more than happy to talk with you about that and talk it out. And if you just want someone to hear you and you don't want advice, just let me know and I will keep my mouth shut and just hear you. And anyways, so lots of love to y'all out there. Thanks for watching this. I'll probably redo this at some point, but I just wanted to get it all out because I was really feeling it. I love the law of attraction, and I love you guys. So there you go. All right.